It's official, y'all. The Greenhouse Season 3 is a go. So I am making a new instruction video to help simplify the rules of the game and explain rule changes as we go into the new season. The Greenhouse is a social strategy game in which contestants work to vote each other off to try to be the last player standing. Each round begins with a greenhouse challenge that sends 3 players into the greenhouse. They choose their powers for the week in the flower picking ceremony. The powers help determine which player is eliminated each round. The powers either nominate or block votes at the banishment ceremony. Additionally, players collect seeds, which is an in-game currency. They could use these seeds at weekly auctions where they could buy safety in the game. Now that we have an overview of the game, here's a quick timeline of what a round of the Greenhouse game looks like. The round begins with a greenhouse competition in which the top 3 players enter the greenhouse. Those 3 players participate in the flower picking ceremony, which determines which power each greenhouse player gets. In the first half of the game, there's an additional seed immunity challenge in which non-greenhouse players can choose to compete for seeds or immunity. Then the Sunflower and Rose from the greenhouse nominate 3 players for banishment. After nominations, players participate in an auction where they can trade seeds with one another to try to buy safety. I'll go through the items up for auction later. After the auction, the remaining nominees are voted upon by the non-greenhouse players and the tulip. After each banishment, the cycle repeats itself. Players who are in the greenhouse are allowed to compete in the next week's greenhouse competition. The 3 powers in the greenhouse are the Sunflower, Tulip, and Rose. The Sunflower nominates first at each nomination ceremony. That player names 2 players for eviction. The Sunflower's nominees each receive a seed. The Rose nominates a 3rd player for banishment after the Sunflower at each nomination ceremony. Additionally, the Rose breaks ties at banishment votes. Last is the Tulip. The Tulip blocks 2 players from voting. Those players then bank those votes for later use. The Tulip is only in play for the first half of the game. I will show an example video of how the flower powers are picked in the greenhouse. You will go in reverse order and you will pick the powers that you want, and the higher ranked players can steal if they want that power. So Johnny, you came in 3rd. You have the first move. Would you like Tulip, Rose, or Sunflower?
Rose.
Alright. Johnny picks the Rose. You can go back.
Oh, I can go back? Okay.
Lily, you came in 2nd. Would you like to steal the Rose or claim Sunflower or Tulip?
I'm gonna steal the rose. I'm sorry, Johnny.
Alright,
I'm
Lily
sorry,
steals
Johnny.
the
I'm
Rose.
sorry, Johnny. Oh, yeah.
Alright,
I'm sorry.
Johnny takes Tulip. Gabby, will you steal or claim?
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Yeah, I knew it.
Alright, Johnny
This is my bad.
takes the Sunflower.
You're a sunflower. I love it.
Before the top 9, each round, non-greenhouse players can compete for seeds or immunity. Players have a minute to choose whether they are competing for seeds or immunity. This decision is public, and the players in the greenhouse can see what the non-greenhouse players are competing for. So, for example, if a player is competing for immunity, they probably don't feel safe with the players who have nominating powers. The winner of the immunity challenge is safe from nominations, and the winner of the seed challenge wins 2 seeds. The weekly auction occurs after the nomination ceremony each week. The currency of the greenhouse game is seeds. Every player starts with 1 seed, and the seeds can be freely traded. Additionally, seeds can be found in various seed hunts that might send players on various puzzle-solving adventures around the yard. They may also be some kind of competitive ice-breaking challenge. Players will be faced with several dilemmas throughout the season that will allow them to potentially earn more seeds. Additionally, the Sunflower nominates 2 players who receive seeds each week, and also the seed challenges allow a player to receive 2 seeds at a time. These are the powers that are up for sale. All of the items in the auction are passable except for the seed count. First is the uproot. At a starting price of 3 seeds, the player who buys the uproot can remove one of the players from the block. The player who buys uproot does not have to use the uproot, and the uproot is restocked at the start of every round. The uproot that is purchased only counts for the round in which it is purchased. It cannot be carried into future rounds. The person who buys Uproot can choose to discard Uproot and leave it unused. Here's an example of the Uproot in action.
So then I just place them right here?
Yes. Okay. Lily has officially bid 4 seeds on Uproot, beating Gabby's bid of 3.
We'll match her at 4.
Is that all you have?
Yes.
Okay, the bid is currently matched at 4 between Lily and Gabby. If it remains matched, it will be decided by random.org.
All right.
5. Lily will up the bid to 5 seeds.
I'm out.
Gabby is out.
I'm prepared to call it. Lily has purchased Uproot for 5 seeds.
Thanks, Mom.
How would you like to use it?
I would like to use it on the account.
Alright, Lily has been removed from the block, so that means only Gabby and Maddie remain as nominees. I'll give you about 20 minutes to prepare for the banishment. Next is the green thumb. The green thumb allows a player to replace one of the winners of the greenhouse competition. The power must be used directly after the greenhouse challenge. The user must be the person doing the replacing. So, if the holder wants to see an ally enter the greenhouse alongside them, the user must then pass the green thumb to that ally for the ally to use. Here's an example of the green thumb in action.
So cool.
So before we go do the greenhouse flower picking ceremony, the green thumb is still active. It was not banished in the last banishment ceremony. Does anyone want to play green thumb?
Yeah, I'd like to replace Meredith with myself.
Alright, Claire replaces Meredith in the greenhouse.
It's kind of warm.
Alright, so the official rankings for the week are first Claire, second Christian, third Brandon. Next, at a price of 5 seeds, is the drought. Whoever wins the drought has a one-time decision of whether or not the tulip will be removed from the game completely. If the drought is used, all banked votes are removed from the game. The person who buys drought can choose not to use drought. There is no example clip of the drought power being used because it has yet to be purchased in a season of the greenhouse. The next item is seed count, which can be purchased by any player at any time for 1 seed. When purchased, the player gets access to the Excel sheet where all players' seed counts are kept. It's an opportunity to have a snapshot of perfect information. Here's an example of the seed count being purchased.
Can I buy seed count?
Yes, you can. Brody buys a seed count for 1 seed. All right.
And he will be looking at our current standings, which Taylor will display on the screen.
Oh, will he? Wait,
I don't
everybody
know.
gets it?
For the audience.
Oh. Icon. Not me with 0. I just wanted to make sure no one had like 8. Was the really like my concern is no one gets to that number. It's hard to compete. So my main thing was just making sure I understood where the power lies as far as seeds go and who has the power to next round. Basically, if someone were to go up, are they going to be able to pull themselves off? Now I can, if I win, I can make a decision based on, hey, this group is going to pull themselves off and this person can't match it. Things like that.
Lastly is the Venus flytrap. We have upped the price from past seasons. Instead of 10 seeds, the Venus flytrap is now worth the number of remaining players plus 2. So, in the first round, when there are 14 players remaining, the Venus flytrap is worth 16 seeds as a starting price. At the top 8, the starting price will be 10. So, throughout the game, the price will be going down, making the flytrap more affordable. The player who successfully buys the Venus flytrap can banish the player of their choice, instantly. There is only 1 flytrap per game, and whenever the flytrap is used, the rest of the round in which it was purchased is cancelled. Here's an example of the flytrap being purchased. Before we close things up, does anyone have a bid to make? Yes?
I like to bid for the Venus flytrap.
Alright.
Bring him here. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lily has officially bid 10 seeds on the Venus flytrap.
Alright. Would anyone like to extend the time to try to outbid Miss Lily? Or just enjoy? All right, I'm going to call it. Congratulations, Lily. You have purchased the Venus flytrap and have virtually a gun. So, I will give you all at least 8 minutes to prepare for Lily's sole vote to banish, and I will see you at the first elimination, where anyone can go.
Except Lily.
Except Lily.
Cups, back on the cart, please.
No hard feelings to this person. We are eliminating you because let me not just diffuse responsibility. I'm eliminating you because I see you as a significant threat and campaigner. And so I'm eliminating Jessica.
Jessica, you have been banished from the greenhouse. Say your goodbyes and come with me. Remember, these are all starting prices except for seed count. Whenever someone bids on an item, other players are allowed to pool their seeds to try to outbid other people. So for example, if a target is trying to go for uproot to save themselves, a majority alliance could potentially pool their seeds to buy uproot and keep the target from buying it. Additionally, players are encouraged to bid on items that they don't plan to buy in order to try to force their competition to bid more seeds and burn more seeds. Players must always raise the bid when bidding on an item. The only time a player can match a bid is if that's the exact number of seeds that player owns. Players are not allowed to retract their bids. Once that you bid, you cannot take your seeds back until someone outbids you. Players who bid on an item but don't win that item get their seeds back. Here's an example of a bidding war from Season 1.
I think he matched us.
You did?
Yeah. I'm not trying to bleed you dry.
I don't care.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
I want to get more. We have 5.
Alright, the current bid on uproot is 5.
Are you still willing to give up that 5th one?
Yeah, I told you I would.
Okay, would you mind?
No.
So I can go?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you sticking true to your word.
Of course.
Thank you. I think that they just pulled their two together because they figured they'd have a better chance against me than each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go put it up to 5 and see what happens. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's a match.
It's a match.
We're matched. Emily and John then raised the bid to 6.
I'm just gonna do it. Fuck it.
Thank you.
Fuck it.
I
Fuck it.
appreciate
It
it.
is what the
Obviously,
fucking
like I
is.
said, I have your back.
Go talk to like 2 other people and
Just
then
say
go do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Drake wants to send Mitch home, and so does Claire, and so does a bunch of other people. So now I'm just like, I just gave everyone the house target. I just gave him a seed. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna go and pretend like I have a seed. Where's a rock? I need a rock. You gotta do this so I can swirl. Yeah, that's smart.
This is crazy.
Mitch matches.
Match at 6. At the end of the auction, we have a matched bid, 6 each on uproot. So either Mitch or John will win the uproot. How's it determined? By random. If you want to avoid a random outcome, get the seeds.
So easy.
Randomize. Mitch wins the uproot. So, John, you do get your seeds back. And Mitch gets the uproot. I'm assuming you're using it on yourself.
Use it on. Yeah.
Okay. So Mitch is saved from the block, which means that Emily and John are the final nominees. After each auction is the banishment vote. For the first half of the game, when the tulip is in play, the tulip blocks 2 players from voting. Those votes are banked for later use. The nominees, Sunflower and Rose, can't vote. Banked vote rules have changed since the first season. Now, banked votes are passable, and banked votes are only usable by people who otherwise can vote. If a nominee wants their banked vote to be used in their favor, they have to trust it to another player who can already get in line to vote. If a Sunflower or Rose really wants to use a banked vote to try to ensure their target goes home, they have to trust that banked vote to another player. Remember, only non-nominees and the tulip can vote. When the votes are counted, the player with the most votes against them leaves the game. Whenever a player is eliminated from the game, whatever seeds they are holding onto are eliminated and no longer in play. So, if you want to see an ally get your seeds on the way out the door, you must trust it to that ally before the banishment vote. From the final 9 onward, the tulip is no more, and banked votes that are still in the game may still be used. The second half of the game has the same basic mechanics, but has a few simplifications. The 3 items in the greenhouse are sunflower, rose, and 2 seeds. The sunflower moving forward only names 1 nominee. The seed and immunity competition no longer takes place, and also the tulip is no more. If the uproot is used, the flower that named that nominee names the replacement nominee. So if the sunflower's nominee is removed, the sunflower names the replacement, and that replacement gets a seed because it's the sunflower's nominee. The uproot works a lot like the power of veto of Big Brother. If a non-nominee uses the uproot on one of the nominees, that user cannot be the replacement nominee. Remember, uproot is passable, so if one of the nominees buys uproot, they're able to pass it to one of their allies and share immunity. But the sunflower and rose of each week is not able to compete in the next week's Greenhouse Challenge. Here's an example of a replacement nominee being named in the second half of the game. And Meredith, here's your uproot.
Thanks for coming to the store.
Thank you, auction. Alright, so our 2 nominees are Brandon and Meredith, correct? Meredith, what would you like to do with your uproot?
Uproot myself.
Alright, Meredith has uprooted herself and is safe from banishment. Who nominated Meredith?
I did.
Okay, who are you going to nominate?
So this is the worst possible scenario. I'm gonna have to backstab somebody, and it's not what I want to do or how I thought I was gonna come in and play this game at all. But at this point, I have literally no options. Lainey, I'm so sorry.
Honey, I gave you your power. I understand, but I gave you your power. I had the power to take it away from you and possibly do this to you, and you're gonna, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna stop talking.
Alright, Lainey and Brandon are the final nominees. Prepare for banishment. The final 4-round challenges the finalists' abilities to manage their target level and put trust in one another. Players use their remaining seeds and banked votes to vote for one person to receive final immunity. That player casts 1 killer vote to banish the 4th place finisher. If there's a tie, all members of that tie are finalists. Because of this, the game could end in either a top 2 or a top 3. It's a top 2 if there's a tie between 2 players, and it's a top 3 if one person wins final immunity, or if there's a 3-way tie at the end. I won't go into the specifics of what happens if there's a 4-way tie because it's so difficult to see happen. Strong players who hope to survive this round need to make sure that they keep targets at the ready to take the fall during this round. The game of the greenhouse ends with a jury vote of eliminated players. The eliminated players vote for a winner of the greenhouse game. This season will feature a special update to the rules called the Poison Daisy Chain. At every auction, there will be a poison pot put by Holly. At any time, a player could put as many seeds as they want into the pot. At the end of every auction, we will check how many seeds are in the pot. As soon as the number reaches 5, the Poison Daisy Chain will be activated at the very next banishment. At that banishment, the banished player will choose one person to be safe. That saved player will save another player, who will save another player, and so on until one player is left unsaved. That player is automatically banished from the Greenhouse Season 3. This will only happen once per season, and it cannot happen in the same round that the fly trap is used. So whenever the fly trap is purchased, we will not be checking the poison pot. Also keep in mind the poison pot is a running total, so if at any point you put a seed into the poison pot, it will stay in the poison pot until the Poison Daisy Chain is activated. There's also an opportunity for extra seeds. Holly is holding on to 2 seeds at her station by the auction. At any point, any player can claim one of the seeds that Holly is holding. However, if you claim a seed from Holly, she will place a seed into the poison pot. Only 2 players can claim this opportunity, and you cannot start to claim it until after you have been eliminated from the first Greenhouse Challenge. I could not be more excited for this 3rd season. We have a really good cast shaping up, and it's going to be a great time. I know it's a complex game, but I promise you will get the rhythm of it, and it's going to be fun. Good luck out there.